The mission at Hope Cancer Care Nevada is to provide world-class care closer to home. I'm Dr. Mehdi. I'm a medical oncologist and founder of Hope Cancer Care Nevada.
This is Eye on Cancer with Dr. Mehdi and Linda Cass.
Good evening, and welcome to this edition of Eye on Cancer. I'm Linda Cass, and I am here with Pahrum's only medical oncologist, Dr. Raja Mehdi, and we will be answering some very interesting questions this week. Dr. Mehdi, welcome back.
Thank you, Linda.
Do you have your thinking cap on?
Sort of.
Sort of? Well, that's good. Your sort of is worth a million of everybody else's really trying hard. Well, our first question, we're going to jump right into it. Our first question is, are there any facilities here in Pahrump to complete and accomplish blood transfusions?
Yes, I believe the Desert View Hospital provides blood transfusions. It's a little bit challenging getting platelets. That's another component of the blood. But the red cell transfusions, I believe they can arrange the same day. For the platelet transfusions, sometimes they have to order it and wait till the next day.
Okay.
But it can be accomplished here.
Okay, so generally the general practitioner, the what do we call the provider, can set that up, and so
yes, they have a standardized form that we use for our patients.
Okay.
We just fax it from the office,
Okay.
And the patients can go and accomplish that. Yeah.
Okay, just probably just like any other medical test or medical procedure.
True.
It's just a normal thing. Okay, well, luckily we do have it.
Yes,
And so
yes.
there we go. Now, I have a question. This is something that just has puzzled me forever. In your busy schedule, because I see how many patients you see in a day, how do you keep up with all the latest developments and the latest procedures and the latest technology? How do you do that?
It's not one thing alone. These days, with the information sharing, with the smartphones and all, we will get first, I have to read every day.
Okay.
And that's basically on, some of the cases that I, like to, read up and be prepared before the patient comes in.
Oh,
So
okay.
that goes into the daily reading. But that's very specific to the point, to the topic. And if something new comes up out of a national meeting or a new discovery, generally we get a text or an email right away.
Okay.
So we, through the American Cancer Society or the National Cancer Institute, so we sign up for their, daily updates.
Okay.
So every day, if something new, first thing in the morning, I'll check the email. So they'll have any new research that has come up will be there. So I'll glance at it as part of my routine. And thirdly, for patients who I would like to get, a second opinion at, say, a university center, say they need a bone marrow transplant or something like that, which is not available, here. Unfortunately, even, in Nevada, we don't do those at all. So then I would, reach out. I have made relationships with the City of Hope
Okay.
And MD Anderson
Yes.
in Houston, they have now a clinic in Phoenix. So though both are drivable distances, I'll either, if the patient can travel, arrange for a just a outpatient consultation, and then liaison with the physicians there, or I can call up their doctors and have them present the case at their tumor boards,
Yes.
and then give feedback to me.
Okay.
So between these, you can't really in this day and age do some kind of research or have something new and not tell people about it.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
So it's actually much better than having to physically go to the library and open a journal. Now those come
Absolutely.
electronically.
They come to
so
you.
It's easy.
They come to you, and then when they do come to you, depending on how you decide the importance, the validity, how much you need to know, how do you continue your investigation of those the new technologies? You get an alert and you think, oh wow, I've got this patient and I really would like to know about that before I see them next. How would you go? How would you further that investigation?
You just click on it.
Just click on it. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Generally, you would, have either used it or seen it being used.
Okay.
You can always, call up the person who's actually performing the procedure,
Okay.
and ask them, if something
Okay.
is available, and that's not really that difficult.
Right.
To make a few phone calls and make sure that the patient does not have to do that, and try to figure it out on their own.
Okay. It is an interesting thing. The first time that I was diagnosed with cancer in '94, I called back to the National Institute of Cancer back in Maryland. And I got right through to the top guy. And his advice to me, go to your local physicians and get the treatment that's available.
Yes, I think that, for as far as chemotherapy goes, the best care is closer to home. Now,
got
in
it.
terms of the plan, I think there is value in terms of consultation and exactly, what regimens or drugs to be used. But best care is closer to home.
Okay, well, we've got a lot more in store, and we'll be right back after the break. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm Linda Cass. This is Eye on Cancer, and we're here with Dr. Raja Mehdi, Pahrumps' only medical oncologist. And so, you're just the answer man tonight. This is fantastic. So,
Trying to keep up.
oh, you are. So, our next question, this is a toughie. Given the amount of research dollars that are available here in the United States and worldwide, why don't we see more breakthroughs? Why isn't there a cure for cancer?
Short answer is cancer is not one disease. That's why. Because it's such a multitude of different processes that it's unfair to think of cancer as, say HIV or tuberculosis. Because for infections, we don't say that why don't we get rid of all infections? We talk about HIV, we talk about tuberculosis, we talk about meningitis. But when we start to talk about cancer, we want all cancer to be cured all at once. So I think that's the difference in mindset, that we have to deal with cancer as individual diseases. And within one type of cancer, there's so many subtypes and nuances that just because when we feel that we have kind of found the switch, the cancer cells mutate, just like bacteria do, and or viruses do, and surprise us. There have been breakthroughs, I would say. In 2000, there was a drug by the name of Gleevec.
Okay.
It was it was, to me, really a breakthrough medicine because it totally changed the way we think about treating cancers. The old-fashioned way, which still, is used a lot, was to kill the cells by chemotherapy, just on the basis that the cancer cells grow faster. But that's kind of like a broader shotgun approach to throw something and try to kill indiscriminately. What that pill did is it went inside the cell and it actually reversed the process by which the cell became cancer. So it just turned that switch off, and to this day, patients use that pill for a chronic form of leukemia that has totally changed. Since then, there have been breakthrough drugs for lymphoma. There was a drug called rituximab. Then for breast cancer, there was a drug called Herceptin or trastuzumab. These are non-chemotherapy drugs which actually go and turn off the switch. Now, the problem happens that once we block one switch, we find out there are more switches to it. So then we have to come up with nuances to that medicine.
So the drug companies then, that brings up the question, do you work with drug companies to report these, the nuances, the things that work, the things that don't work? Do you, through some organization or something, have a way to report the effects?
Yes, there are, cancer trial support units, which are broken down by regions. So there are about 4 or 5 major ones, and then you just become part of one. And then that way, if you're noticing something odd or a new adverse effect about a drug, so you can, notify it, and all that information is then pooled and analyzed.
Boy, that gives us a whole new look inside how things work. I never had any idea, and I don't think anybody else does either, about your back and forth, because generally a patient will only see the oncologist, maybe their general practitioner, and so this is a good thing to know that you are in the mainstream. This is...
Oh, you have to be, because, when you think about how I would want to be treated, everybody deserves and wants the best. So you have to be at the optimum knowledge for your patients. And if something is gonna make a difference practically to the patient's care, there is no excuse for not knowing it.
Absolutely. Now, a next question that comes to my mind, have you had an occasion with any of your patients over the years that something new popped up that surprised you, that perhaps maybe came to a change in technologies or something?
Yes, I mean, patients routinely they read up on the internet and they'll bring to you, new discoveries. Sometimes it's relevant to their care, and you should already be doing it. Sometimes there are experimental medications which are not yet applicable to the patient's care, and then it's a matter of educating and explaining both the patient and the family what they read in the newspaper may not be relevant to everybody.
Exactly, because as you explained before, there are just because this is not your mother's cancer, I guess we could say, that things have changed. Have you seen mutations that we were talking about? Have you seen those over the years, that a cancer that you've treated in the past with a patient, it's perhaps the same name on a cancer with the newer patient, but it doesn't respond?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. I think this
Okay.
nomenclature will change, and the staging systems will change and become obsolete. We think of cancer nowadays in terms of how far it has spread. And I think we will start to think about cancers in terms of their genetic makeup. And that's how we will be classifying them more so.
Okay, well, those are very comprehensive answers to very technical questions, and I thank you for clearing it up.
Absolutely. I like those ones.
Oh, good. That's a good thing. Okay, we have more, and so if you'll stay tuned, we'll be right back.